Hey guys, Michael the DC Multiverse Collector here, bringing you something a little bit different today. As you can see, I'm not reviewing a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure today, even though I've just got a whole bunch of new figures to review. I'm really excited to bring you those reviews. Before I get onto those, I really just want to clear the decks and have a look at this NECA TMNT Street Scene Diorama. Now, you can see that this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie themed, and it's this street scene diorama that you've probably seen in other YouTube reviews for reviewers in their backgrounds, in their collections. You've probably seen this before. It's become ubiquitous. This was a 2018 release, so it's about 5-6 years old, and it's become a bit of a cliche for how often it appears in YouTube reviews. But here we are. I've got this set. Now, this was a 2018 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set. This one came with this TMNT theme, and also in a bundle it gave you the 4 movie figures. Now, this box set doesn't come with the figures. It is just the diorama, which I picked up secondhand on a Facebook group. Someone was selling this. It's actually quite a rare item as I understand it. I think this was simply available at San Diego Comic-Con in 2018 and on NECA's website around that time, I believe, and then it was out of print. So I don't know how many of them are out there, but I feel quite lucky to have this. You don't see it up for sale all that often. What you do see though is a re-released version of this diorama, which is not TMNT branded. It is generic, and it has a lighter color scheme. The bricks aren't a sort of rich dark color like this. It's a brighter reddy brick color, and it doesn't have the deco, for example, you know, the WTRL radio station there or the Foot Clan symbol there. They are missing on the more generic version of this diorama, but I think functionally it's the same diorama, so that's probably the one you see more often. I quite like this one because I actually like the darker color scheme for the bricks. It looks a bit grittier, a bit more realistic, and I think this will look better with my McFarlane DC Multiverse figures and my Spider-Man, Daredevil, figures. I just think this is a more gritty, realistic backdrop than the bright red diorama look. So that's why I've gone with this one. I thought what I would do today is crack this open, build it so you can see what it's like to assemble it, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's fully assembled. I'm surely going to speed through the assembly process just to sort of give you a vague overview of what it's like to assemble this thing, and I'll let you have any specific comments I have throughout. So yeah, join me. Let's have a look at the back of the box first and see what that looks like. You can see it shows you a better view of what the diorama looks like and its scale in relation to those 7-inch NECA TMNT figures. You see that the diorama has 3 levels. It also has a cityscape backdrop at the back of it, which is quite nice. So yeah, without any further ado, I'm going to open this and you can watch me muddle my way through assembling it, and then we'll have a look at how it all comes together in the end. Alright, so I'm going to get this open. I actually have very, very little idea of how long this is going to take me to build. I'm not sure how involved it is, how many pieces there are going to be. Am I going to be here all night, or is it going to be like a 10-minute job? It's probably somewhere in between. I'm probably an hour, I would imagine, so yeah, I'll be sure to speed this up. So in the box, it looks like there is another box. Right off the bat, I think what you have here is the backdrop. So this will be probably the night background. There you go. So it's the nightscape background that will go at the back of the diorama. Only the top is printed. This is a fairly sort of modest cardboard. It's robust, but it's not going to hold up forever, so probably going to have to be really gentle with this. This looks like a street base to me. Yep, this looks like a base for the second story, perhaps. Here you'll see the brick wall of the second story. I can tell you in person the bricks are really nicely sculpted. There's nice sort of colour variation between the bricks, which looks quite realistic. And you can see some of the bricks have holes here, which I think is how everything's going to assemble together using those ports. So that's pretty nice. Windows look good. The decal here for WTRL looks really, really nice and quite realistic looking, I think. So that's a good start. And here are some of the panels that will, I think, lock everything into place. Nice, thick sturdy plastic here. Really durable feeling, high quality, which is good. This looks really nice here with that sort of garage door. Really nice, like painted weathering up there. Looks really, really good. This piece here has the drain pipe sort of in it. Really nice weathering, silver paint, really durable looking, really good looking. You can see how that's going to be a structural piece that holds everything together. And finally, a bag full of clear glass windows, or plastic windows, to go into the window frames. So I'll leave those in there for now. Now let's get building and see how complicated this actually is. I think it actually should be quite simple, but let's see. Okay, so the first step in the instructions basically contemplates you taking the window section out of the wall and getting an individual window pane and fitting it to these pegs. So you have a window, and then you can simply sort of plug the window piece back into the wall. Nice and tight. And there you have a window, and it's sort of locked in place at the back. So I'm going to do that a few more times. So now we start with the first level. All right, so here you've got the first major step to construction. You've got the ground level, you've got the ground level wall, and you've got the sort of first floor. On top, it all snaps together quite snugly. It feels quite secure, everything snaps into place nicely, and it all feels really high quality, which I really appreciate. Already I can tell this is going to be a beast. Dio. You'll see there is actually quite a lot of internal space. You could pose figures here to appear in the windows, which is quite a nice touch. So bear that in mind. And you could even put lighting solutions in there if you wanted some lights emanating from the inside. But yeah. All right, I've had to adjust the camera because as I put on the, roof of this thing, I can tell it's going to be bigger than my camera will allow, so. Okay, after all this is assembled, you basically are told to put 40 of these little single brick keys into every single one of these little brick holes. So this is going to be tedious, but let's see how I go. Okay, so the next step involves putting some support beams like this into the second story roof. So there should be holes, I see them. The next step basically involves you putting these little support pieces along the side, and they will give something for the backdrop, the cardboard backdrop, to plug into. So this should be relatively easy and uncontroversial. Let's see if I can find a way to stuff it up. Okay, and from what I understand, the final step is to get the cardboard backdrop like so, and then you get these little pegs and they should hold it in place. Now, I have heard on the grapevine that these pegs do a terrible job of holding this in place, but let's find out. And that is basically the finished diorama. Now, I'll get you a better look at it in a minute to show you how it all looks with figures posed on it. But my first impression is this thing is big and awesome and imposing. And yeah, it's a really cool piece. Let's get in and have a better look. Okay, so here's the diorama built. Now you'll see that it's so big that I can't really fit this in frame on a traditional tripod, so I'm going handheld. You can see it's got the lower ground, second story, and the rooftop with the backdrop. Looks really, really nice. I'm really impressed with the build quality and obviously the size. Going up for a look, you can see that the printing of the backdrop is pretty nice. Very glossy though. You can see that the bricks, the air conditioner unit looks great. You can see there's staining underneath it, which is terrific. The drain pipe is really nicely detailed with that silver paint. Graffiti looks good. And you see that the bricks are all a slightly different colour, but I actually think that makes it look really realistic. Gives it some variation, some interest. Coming down to the ground floor, you can see there's a nice amount of footpath there with some cracks in it. Quite nice. You can see that there's actually a right angle there and it's curved there. So that's pretty cool. The roller door looks great. The paintwork. Yeah, overall, this is just really impressive piece, especially if you got it for the price that it was going for at the time of release. It's very impressive. Nowadays, it's quite expensive to come by, but I'd say if you have the space and the money, yeah, this is a great addition to the collection. You'd also need a bit of room. But anyway, that's enough from me. Let me show you what some figures look like, starting with some McFarlane DC Multiverse. So you can see that Batman and the Bat family scale really well with this. 7 inches seems to be a really good fit for this dio. You'll also see that aesthetically, despite the fact this is TMNT themed, they look really, really good. You can see Red Hood, Catwoman and Damian, and Tim Drake at the top. So yeah, they look really good against this dio. They pose really, really well. It fits them aesthetically. If you are a DC Multiverse collector, and particularly Batman, and you have sort of the space and the money to grab this, I think it's a fine addition to your collection and fits really, really well. Now, just for completeness sake, I'm going to get some Marvel figures out and see what they look like. Alright, so here are some Marvel Legends. You'll see the Thing and the Retro Lizard. Being sort of New Yorkers, go really, really well with this diorama. As do, obviously, the Hell's Kitchen trio of Daredevil, Bullseye, and the Punisher. Looking really, really nice. and the Prowler on the rooftop. So yep, 6 inches works really, really well too. So whether you are into the 7-inch DC Multiverse, the 6-inch Hasbro Marvel Legends, this diorama will fit the bill and will look really, really good. So anyway, that's all from me. If this video has been helpful, entertaining, or interesting to you, why not hit the like button, consider subscribing. I've got plenty of reviews on the way. It's a small click for you, really helps the channel, and you can stay abreast of everything I've got going on. Until next time, everyone, happy collecting, and thank you so much for watching. This video was brought to you with the support of Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles. For a great range of toys from DC Multiverse to Black Series to Marvel Legends, Hot Toys and more, visit Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles and use the offer code DCDUDE, that's DCDUDE, for an exclusive discount month to month. Could be 5% off or $5 off at checkout. Try the code, see what you get, place an order with Fett's, and you won't be disappointed. And we thank Fett's for their continued support of this channel.